Hello and welcome to TechOptic channel. Today we are going to talk about a critical precaution we can take against certain scenarios we sometimes encounter in our professional lives and how to configure it on the Endpoint Central server. As you know, just as we prepare and hand over computers to new employees, we also take them back when they leave. Especially when employees depart, the data inside these computers plays a crucial role in business continuity. At this point, just as there are normal or peaceful departures, there are also scenarios where employees are terminated on bad terms, or even worse, when we suspect they might harm the company. That's exactly why we aim to quickly block access to specific employees' computers and prevent the internal data from being compromised using a custom script deployed via Endpoint Central. While preparing this script with the support of AI tools, we designed a highly comprehensive solution that takes Active Directory dynamics, labs configurations, and network restrictions into account, leaving as few loopholes as possible. In this video, we will explain the usage methods of this script, the scenarios where you can apply them, and show how a sample scenario is configured via Endpoint Central. Let's head over to the products interface, import the scripts, and explain the different usage types in the implementation section. In my environment, I have two virtual servers and one Windows 11 client. Both virtual servers are running Windows Server 2025. One is the domain controller and the other one is the Endpoint Central server. The client computer is joined to the Active Directory domain and can currently communicate with the DC. To make the test more realistic, I previously logged in this computer using both local and AD accounts, ensuring the credentials were cached. Now let's switch to the Endpoint Central server. I have two PowerShell scripts in the ctemp directory on the server. One of them applies the emergency lockdown mechanism to the target computer, while the other removes this lockdown. After all, we want to protect the data on these computers, but we also want to easily access this data after the employee has left or after a missing computer is found. Now let's add this script to our server from the script repository section. Go to the configuration section and from there go to the script repository and click add script. Here let's target our first script, which is located in the ctemp. While adding the script here, I want to populate some information under the description section about the usages of them. We will explain these shortly. Let's add the recovery script after it. And click add. Now let's look at which parameters we can use for which scenarios through a sample deployment. Go to the configuration sections, click Windows, and then click Custom Script. But here, please make sure the computer configuration is selected. This is important because our goal is to ensure the settings takes effect on the target computer as quickly as possible. If we select the user, the application will be slower compared to the selecting computers. Let's give our deployment a name. From the script name, let's select our script named as Emergency Lockdown. As you can see, the description section comes here as well. There are basically 4 different deployment scenarios. Actually, it is 3, but even though the first and the second scenarios are quite similar, their working structures are different. The first one is targeting a specific user to block computer access. When we use this option for users who do not have IT-wide administrative privileges and whom we believe only work on their own specific computer or computers. When we use this method, the script searches for the related account on the specified computer or computers. If it can't find it, it does nothing. If it finds it, it blocks that account from logging in and clears the cached credentials. Other AD accounts will need to communicate with the DC to log in. Local accounts will already be able to log in. In other words, no network restriction is applied here. The restriction is aimed at the specific account, and this can be either an AD account or a local account. The second usage type is blocking access for multiple accounts. We can do this by separating them with a semicolon and specifying as many accounts as needed to restrict them on the related computers. The logic is basically the same as the first scenario. Let's say the user has various different accounts, but we still apply this for users who we don't think have system-wide administrative privileges. The fact that they are administrators on their own computers doesn't change this. It should also be noted that if the script finds only some rather than all of the searched user accounts on the relevant computers, it continues to apply the restriction for those found accounts. It doesn't just fail directly. The third usage type operates on a sort of a zero trust logic. It is not targeted at a specific user account, but rather completely shuts down access to the relevant computer. Here, whether local and domain users have logged in previously or not, whether they are online or not, they cannot access that machine. Because this setting is dangerous, it should be tested on a machine in the environment beforehand to decide whether to use it. So, what do we use this for? We generally use this setting for scenarios where the person either has administrative privileges across the system infrastructure or where we don't exactly know which accounts they use on the related system. This feature checks quite a few different settings and also applies network restrictions for specific AD ports to the computer, though it doesn't shut it down entirely. If there are environments that require a full network restriction, you might need to update the script. By the way, you can download these scripts from our website as well. The final usage, which can be used in conjunction with the previous scenario, ensures that while applying a full restriction, if there is a lapse configuration in the environment, the relevant restrictions are applied excluding this lapse account. It performs some checks to understand whether this structure is configured, and if successful, it excludes this account from the restriction. However, if you use this parameter but the script cannot find a lapse configuration on the target computer, it will not apply the restriction to the computer and will fail. Now let's test it via a sample deployment. I don't plan on testing every single scenario in this video to save time. But while preparing the script in my own test environment, I tested all 4 scenarios one by one. Actually, it makes 8 if you include the restriction removal processes, and gave it its final shape this way. Now, if you like, let's run a test specifying multiple user accounts. First, assuming there is no AD access, let's shut down the DC server first. Then, coming to the settings section, let's select one local and one domain account. Let's modify these accordingly. We specified that target users space under quotation marks domain name backslash domain username semicolon computer name backslash local user account and quotation marks. With that, we will test one domain user account and one local user account. Let me also point out, to properly analyze the deployment results for reporting purposes, make sure the Enable Logging for Troubleshooting option is enabled. Now let's target the computer and send the deployment as using deploy immediately. Let me mention that in my task, due to the high number of operations performed in the third and fourth scenarios, it can take up to 5 minutes for these settings to activate. Perhaps this could be shortened further, but doing so might cause the script to break. If this time frame is not an issue for you, I recommend leaving it as is, because it performs a lot of checks in the background. Let's assume that we are working in our computer and currently we logged in with the Active Directory user account. First, it signs out of the session and shortly it will reboot for the settings to become permanent. At this point, let's try to sign in again. It couldn't log in. The system began to restart. Now let's try to log in with the accounts which we specified in the configuration. We know that we couldn't log in with the domain user accounts. Let's try to log in with the local accounts. As you can see, the system does not allow us to log in. Let's try another local account here. As you can see, the system allowed for another account, and it will also allow for another domain account as well. Let's check the UI to see the report of this configuration. Let's click refresh here. As you can see, it's a success. And to check it in detail, go to the execution status and check the remark section. Let's copy it to a notepad and wrap it. It says the enforcement applied. We also specified the scope of this configuration. So it's a multiple user. We targeted 2 accounts. It passed, and cache configs also passed. And it also creates a file related to this configuration in detail. Maybe the technicians wants to analyze the configuration in detail. Let's check this file. Go to the client computer. Let me fix the resolution of this computer. Yes, it's better. Let's go to the C program data. Also, these sections ACL settings are configured to allow only the system user and the administrators built-in group to make it as much secure as possible. Let's go to the program data. Under it, you will see a folder named Emergency Lockdown. Let's go there. Click Continue. Let's copy this file in our desktop. Let's name it Lockdown and open it with a notepad. As you can see, it's a JSON file and it fetches many information in the background and allows the technicians to make troubleshooting if needed. So these can be analyzed as well. Let's go back to the Endpoint Central server and remove these restrictions with another script. Let's close this. Go to the configuration section, Windows. From custom script, again select the computer configuration, but this time let's give a name with emergency restoration and select the other script. In the script, we don't need to specify any parameters or arguments here. Please make sure also enable logging for troubleshooting is selected. And I didn't specify before, but these scripts must be run with system users, so do not change these settings here as running this script with another user account. And from the define target section, let's select the same computer. We don't want to retry this configuration and deploy it as using deploy immediately. Let's go back to the client. And as you can see, the configuration has been fetched and it says you are about to sign out. Let's close this and wait it to reboot. Okay, let's try to log on with the ones that we specified earlier. Let's try the domain user account. By the way, because we didn't start the domain controller, it is the expected behavior. Let's start the domain controller and then try it again. By the way, we can try the local account first. As you can see, we could be able to log in with the local account that we restricted earlier. Let's sign out and try the other account. Let's check the domain controller. It seems it's completely started. Let's try with the domain user account fast. As you can see, we could be able to log in with the user account. Let me show you the JSON file which is created after the restore process, because it creates a new file there and also modifies it accordingly. So even if it's the same file, it has different information in it. Let's log in with an admin account and go to the respective directory. Let's copy it here and open it with a notepad. As you can see, there are lots of information here fetched after the restoration script is deployed. As you can see, it has reported in quite a lot of detail. In scenarios where the all parameters is used, this detail is much greater. It checks the net logon service, firewall settings, controls, KDC proxy, lab settings, etc. So IT administrators in particular can analyze this file and resort to troubleshooting methods. And also, finally, let's check the last status of this restoration deployment. Let's refresh it. It seems it is a success, and under the execution status, you can see the remarks data. Let's copy it and paste it to a notepad. The restoration option is configured. Scope exploited users, their states, their access rights, their credential cache details, all are okay, and it also reported these data under this directory. I believe we have come to the end of this video. I hope it was useful. See you in the next one. Goodbye.